is going on, everyone? Parsnip here, and today we are finally back with our Let's Build an Adventure map. Now, it's been a really long time, and I did tell you guys before that I was a little bit tired of the adventure map and I did want to take a pause. However, that's all done and I am back. So this is gonna go ahead and be season 2. I figured that I'd go ahead and do something like 10 episodes, then take a pause, and 10 episodes, and so on. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the beginning of this episode is actually going to be me doing some updates and some fixes on some biomes. So we're going to go ahead and start by working at the beginning of the ice cave that you guys probably saw on my previous series, as well as a little bit of pretty much builds, or terraforming is what I wanted to say. Terraforming on the ice biome. Now, I will be doing a little bit of this on each episode. I figured that if it's just terraforming on 1 or 2 episodes, it would be boring. So I'm going to go ahead and mix and match. So I'll do a build here, as well as a little bit of terraforming there. So to start off with, this is the left side of the spawn, and it pretty much just features me making some mini mountains, I guess you could call it. I figured this would be pretty cool. It looks a little bit different, it's just not flat lands, and it does work as a place for you to go ahead and build. Right up next, I go ahead and head back to the Sky Island that I worked on before, and I'm going to go ahead and add a ton of details here. I decided that the Sky Islands themselves, the buildings look great and all of that, however, the cloud looks pretty boring and I definitely could improve on that. So that's exactly what I do here, and I might be going back to some builds or something like that and adding just a little bit more details every now and then. However, I figured that after I finish this little bit of additional details, you could call it, I go ahead and pretty much wrap up the Sky Island. So what I decide to do is add a little bit of variation towards the background, so you guys can see me add things like gem spark diamond blocks, you know, the walls. I go ahead and add some pearl stone brick walls painted with white paint, as well as a gray background that I painted white, and I figured it looks good. Now that's what you guys see in the background. The mix and match is pretty much the combination of the cloud, the gem spark, the pearl stone, and the wallpaper all in the background, as well as some details from things like coral from the starfish, as well as a little bit of diamond spiraled throughout the build. Now, I did think that adding diamond is a little bit, you know, making your life easy, because finding diamonds is not that easy on the game itself. However, it doesn't actually provide that many advantages considering this is an expert map or elite map. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, I also go ahead and add a couple of clouds here and there. I figure that little clouds floating on the upper section would also help it look like it's part of the sky. You know, it's not just one big cloud, but it has spread out some clouds, especially since the right side has a lot more details in terms of clouds and things like that than the left side. As far as the build itself goes, the Sky Island, I think overall looks really good. It still has that issue with the NPCs, because I put tables and things like that, and I am going to be avoiding doing that from now on, so more NPC does not spawn. I will figure out, however, how to remove those NPCs. I'll probably have to kill them or something and just make sure there's no chairs or anything like that, a complete room. For the last bit of details, I decided that it was still missing something, so I add some lanterns as well as banners. Now there's going to be 2 banners. It's just a random, I think, green or red banner painted white again, as well as a sky banner painted white. Now that's pretty much it for the terraforming. This is when we actually begin a build. Now this is going to be another part of the surface area, as well as later I am going to be making a mini biome underground. I'm always going to be trying to, as well as terraforming a little bit, trying to make something underground, because of course there's a lot more room underground than there is above ground. And that's going to be an issue later on, especially towards the end of the series or things like that. I'm going to have to be most of the ending episodes underground, just filling it up with more things for you guys to find, discover, and have a blast. So up here we go ahead and make what would be pretty much a dock. Now my idea here would be, this was maybe in the past used as some sort of dock, an underground vault, something along those lines. And the dock itself, you're probably wondering, how is this a dock? It's nowhere near the ocean. But the dock itself would be for something like floating ships. I even thought about making a steampunk type floating ship connected to the dock, but I figured that would be too much, at least for now. Maybe on another episode I'll go back here and add that ship. For now, I don't know, but we're just gonna continue making it. So as you can imagine, if this was a harbor or a dock, it is gonna be taking in a lot of materials and things like that. That's why you guys could go ahead and see crate. Now this is gonna be a great area, especially for those of you who are not that good at expert mode. I know a lot of people complain about or mention that maybe I should have made this on easy mode, since the majority of the players play on the regular mode of Terraria. But I figure with the advantages that I'm providing, things like gems, a bunch of crates that you could easily obtain just by walking throughout the surface, and this will give you a bunch of, you know, nothing really important, but a bunch of little advantages that might help you throughout the expert playthrough that you're going to be doing if you download this map. But yeah, I figure overall I wanted to have it look a little bit abandoned, especially the underground section. There is going to be a couple of signs with some text on it, so you guys can go ahead and have an idea of what this was and things like that. Now, for those of you that don't know, a lot of these places do have traps, so I want to make this as clear as I can that even though it does give you some advantages, there's a reason why it has some rewards. Like down here, this is going to be probably one of the few traps that I'm going to show you guys, and you can probably tell what it is. As soon as you hit the golden chest, you know, if you come down here and click that golden chest, all of the lava will fall down, the one on top as well as the lava on the left. But not only that, there is an explosive down below, and that explosive will activate, kill you, and then all of the things that's on the floor will be destroyed by lava. And if by some miracle the lava doesn't, the explosion doesn't kill you, the lava itself will fall and make this area very hard to go back to or get out of. But yeah, right on top I go ahead and add a little bit more detail. This is going to be through the tree. The tree looks pretty cool. I am going to be putting a couple of trees like this because these are the type of trees that I can work with, I can mess around with and add things of the sort. For the last bit of this section, I'm going to just go ahead and add a little bit of details. I'm going to go ahead and terraform. You guys can see me adding some wallpaper, or not wallpaper, but some stone background as well as some leaf background. I did add what would be like a little miniature waterfall or a place that's leaking water, just so it justifies the grass being here, because I figured some green would indeed look good here. You know, it wouldn't be just stone and things like that. So the other entrance towards this underground section will have a lot of green, and right below it, eventually I'm going to go ahead and make some details. And I figure overall I think this is looking really solid, really good. For the details of the leaf background, I go ahead and add the 3 types of leaves. I add the grass walls, the jungle walls, as well as the living leaf, if I'm not mistaken, background, as well as some fences. Now the reason I add fences is to look like maybe there's twigs or things like that in the background, and I think a lot of people do this, and you guys might notice this in the future. But yeah, as for the details themselves, you guys can go ahead and see here that on those chests, not the chests, but the crates on the top left, there was a little bit of section that I added some wiring. Now that wiring is for actuators and explosives, so the explosives and actuators combined will go ahead and be sure to open the background and have lava pretty much fall on you guys, as well as the damage from the explosives. So even though you know of this one, guys, I doubt you guys will remember this by the time the series comes out. The series is still going to take forever to come out. This is a pretty big map, and it's not that fast to go ahead and complete it. So even though you guys did see that trap, you haven't seen all of the traps that I put so far, as well as it's something that you'll most likely forget. Next up, it's like what I mentioned before, we go ahead underground and start working on the biome. Now this biome was inspired by my Halloween special build. For those of you that saw it, there is a biome on the Halloween special, and it is really similar to this one. However, I do add more details here. Now the biome itself consists of obsidian blocks. That's the blocks you guys see all around the top, the sides, and the bottom, as well as the background does not have any obsidian. In fact, what it does has is some blue dungeon background, or the bricks I think, as well as iridescent brick wallpapers or walls. And what was the last? I'm trying to remember what the last one is throughout this. It's the even stone wallpapers, and overall I think the mix of those three looked really good. For details and overall aesthetics, it just fits and matches. It makes this little biome look a little bit dark. It might remind you of not the marble, but the granite biome. However, it does look a lot better in my opinion. Now it is very small and there's not much here. It's just for exploring. It's just when you're walking around, you're like, oh, this looks cool, and maybe you even want to make a base here or something along those lines. I think this is a pretty dope place. It has lighting, it has gems, and it has a bunch of waterfalls and things like that. So overall, I do think this looks pretty good. Now guys, that's pretty much going to be it for this episode 1 of our Let's Build an Adventure map. I hope you all have been enjoying it. I know a lot of you have asked for this to come back, but yeah, it is back and I really do hope you guys like it. So as always guys, thank you all for watching and I'll catch you all next time.